as like our sexuality, but we don't. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Like,
you know, we don't agree with it. Like, and it's like, it's like I'm gonna tell you something really personal. Like when I orgasm, I go like this and I rub my eyes because like when I was young, I would every time after I'd orgasm, I'd be in like regret, like oh my god.
Yeah, wow.
And I feel like, and I still carry that to my day because I'm just like, oh shit, I'm here at this moment right now because from the jump I didn't want to be here. But it feels so good. So, so I have to
We just reveal himself.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I told you I was going live.
You did not. You whispered
Hey,
that.
I did.
Who heard? Raise your hand.
I mean, like
I'm not gonna lie.
Anyway, so it doesn't make any sense.
You were talking about liking straight women.
So you have her, yeah.
I mean, before like everything, it's like tests, you know, like making sure like everything's safe and like depending on the depth of it, like I'll ask, but 9 out of 10, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just looking for like a fuck. So.
On Tinder.
But that doesn't relate to
Not
why.
always on Tinder, but
Okay,
also like.
Crowd, we're talking about why.
I'm saying because they probably.
According to Pam, the lesbian, one of the lesbians here, well, not
the lesbian.
one of the lesbians. I said, why is that bad? I don't know. Okay, anyway, so she has said she will not swipe on bisexual women because.
Oh shit.
On the spot.
So basically, the way I see it is kind of like if I'm going to eat pussy, basically the way it's set up is that I see it as if like a penis. I feel like I'm licking a penis.
But you're not.
I know I'm not, but it's not like.
It's a pride
if she's a
thing,
straight
right?
woman.
It's like a pride.
Even if she's a straight, okay, yeah. So they basically take penis.
So you have the thrill of straight women.
I have the thrill of bisexual and straight women. I just like the fact that straight women can go home.
Oh, I can go home too.
They leave me alone at a point, you know, like
I don't actually want to be with a woman. Yeah, because I guess what you're saying is like straight women, like they're not actually anticipating anything more from this because that's all they wanted
like,
was
there's no chance.
Because it's like I tell this to my straight friends sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, you know, go and find you a nice little stud because
wait. Go ahead.
Go and find you a
Not
nice
the microphone.
Go and find you a nice little stud because she's gonna rock your world. Like she's gonna like, you know, probably eat you out and then like the dick is gonna go all night long.
Can't make this like the voicemail message.
Yeah. It's just like it doesn't have to stop, you know, it's not gonna get soft. And I also like to say it's like fake meat for real. I call it tofu.
Please stop.
And I call it tofu because it's like it's better for you than real meat in all the senses.
Tofu is better for you. Anyway.
So, oh man, yo, if y'all are just joining us, welcome back to Woke Wednesdays. We had people say, what am I walking into right now? People are saying, I'm all for this uncensored episode. Jason said, put the mic down, Pam. But I'll be honest, when it comes, wokeness I think is extremely multifaceted, right? And these types of conversations need to be had, are powerful, and if we can't be ourselves around each other, then who can be ourselves around? And even that says something, right? That you're being myself, I can't do that because there's a form of violence waiting for me.
Yeah. Right?
So I think this conversation, well, first of all, thank you just for disclosing personal information, all of you. So I think that's, we need to talk about this more. And I think, especially like straight people and other people too, right? People who aren't straight or on the spectrum need to understand this better. This is part of becoming awake, right?
Wait, can I pause you real quick?
No.
Okay, so I think that there's like
I'm doing it anyway.
Tara always asks. Just go for it.
I think it's so nice and like stereotypical that like the gays come on an episode and it's just like you walk in and everyone's talking about sex. It's like this stereotype that like you go. But I think here's the beauty of it because there is like a sexual liberation I feel within like gay community because it's not restrained by as many like heterosexual gender norms. So it's like a stereotype. I think it's a beautiful stereotype.
Yeah.
So
I like sex stories because you just run into like kids and they're just like open with it, like oh I've had that toy before. It's awesome. Say less. Like,
yeah, no, it's different.
But I'm all for this. I love it. And I think for straight folks sometimes this can be uncomfortable. Right here, I remember one of my really good friends. He had some stories about him and his boyfriend. And I was like, hey, bro, I'm not trying to hear all that. right? And then he's like, well, you told me about you,
Yeah.
and the girls that you
You're quick. I bet.
you are
Full story.
you are cordial with.
Cordial.
Use that word, yeah, cordial with. And ever since he told me that, I just kind of started thinking about it, and I'm like, I've been trained to be uncomfortable around this.
Yeah.
I've been trained by people, society, media, everything for me to be uncomfortable and so ever since I've been trying to open up, and now I'm at a point where I'm still not where I want to be, right? But I'm a lot more comfortable than I used to be. So this is a journey for all of us in different ways, right? Because I think you said that sometimes your identity can blind you to other identities, right? So just because you're part of LGBTQIA+, that doesn't mean you're necessarily comfortable with
all of it.
trans folk,
Right?
Sure. So that leads me to our question that we want to ask. What's up with you see how I did that?
It was
nice, smooth, right? What do we think about this idea of transphobia in the LGBTQIA community and also racism? Kind of talking about the flag in it was Philadelphia, right? Where they added the rainbow flag, where they added the black and brown flag to represent black and brown folks. There was uproar. This was not acceptable. So what do y'all think about that? Feel free to get at it however y'all want.
Yeah, I think it's definitely there. Like I've heard, friends of mine, people who've said like people who identify as gay, like gay men, say that they would not date a trans
man.
Yeah, I was trying to
Would
not date like a trans man because I don't know. I guess their reasoning is just the fact that they once were women and they're just not attracted to women, and like they don't want the idea of them once being a woman is unattractive to them. So yeah, I definitely it's there,
Yeah, and I think like the idea of not wanting to date a trans person is not exclusive to the gay community. Like that's just like an overall thing, because I think it all that boils down to people don't think that being trans is like valid at this point in society. Like, maybe we're kind of doing the whole pronoun thing. Like we kind of get it. Like we're not gonna make you feel uncomfortable.
It's like a mental thing.
But it's still like it's not valid. Like you're not really what I'm attracted to. You know what I mean? And it's super problematic because we're all breaking it down to genitals.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not a man because you weren't born with a penis, as if that's the only thing that masculinity is, or vagina is the only thing that femininity is. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I definitely think I was reading about this article. I'm sorry, I wish I remembered authors, but it was a good article.
Feel free to send me the articles so I can post them.
So it was kind of relating like transphobia to colonialism, just because and like many like indigenous groups, like there was a respect and an acceptance of like the third gender, which can mean many things depending on what the group was. And it wasn't until like the early 20th century, like in Western societies, where it was like no, it's like male, female, like. That's it, and it was like wrong to be anything else. So like Western and like white ideals kind of overtook, and that's when it made trans or like anything other than male female not okay. So something to think about. I don't know.
It's a lot to think about.
Just a little.
I agree with like a lot of what you said. I think it does a lot of the time come down to genitalia, and it's like it comes down to times like what we. I guess kind of like you said, like what we think we're attracted to. So it's like I like women, so I need like a real vagina. Or like if I like a man and like I'm dating a trans man, what are they gonna bring to the table sexually? Things like that. So it's like there's a lot of like fear and uncomfortableness and a lot of like
insecurities.
Definitely a lot of like uncomfortableness with like with people's genders and people's gender identity. It's like we kind of put on this front that we're comfortable. And I was having a conversation one time and somebody was like, I like, I want my men to be men, and like I want, like if I'm dating a woman, I want it to be like I want my women to be women.
Right.
And it's like, well, what does that mean?
Literally, what does that mean? Yeah. And it's also super problematic because it just boils down every relationship we have to just sex.
Yeah.
Which is like there are people who aren't interested in sex in romantic relationships. You know what I mean? Like asexuality, other identities, like that's a thing. And so like. I don't know, it's kind of like, how are you ever really going to be satisfied in a relationship if the only thing it boils down to is someone's genitals and the sex that you're having? Because sex is not dependent on just genitals. Like, there's other things you can do that, like, express sexuality. I just think, like, our society's view of that is, like, super warped.
Interesting. I had an experience. One of my best friends growing up, I saw him, he lives in North Carolina, and I went home to see him. We were grabbing drinks at a bar, and he was telling me who he had hooked up with this year, and he was like, yeah, man, I had hooked up with with this trans woman, and he said like very just carelessly, just casual, and I was like, pause, man. He said what? He said again, again I had to catch myself. I'm like, what you mean, like, and then in my mind, first thing that happened, I was like, is he gay now? Like I had so many just bad and uninformed, ignorant. I don't like that word, ignorant. Just anti.
Just like societal thoughts.
Like maybe even violent, like anti-identity thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, whoa, Hurst, like chill. So I had to like think through that. But like you said, I think it's not just this anti-trans in the LGBTQIA community. This is like everybody.
Yeah.
At least in the Western world, right? I don't know about other parts.
I think specifically, like if we take it a step further, I think specifically like trans women of color.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The most targeted group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most
Most
targeted.
targeted.
So since we're talking about this, racism too, within these communities, people have assumptions that this is an oppressed group, so they're just like extra woke. One of my best friends, dark skinned man, tells me gay dark skinned man always tells me about the horrible shit that he hears from other people, and it's specifically because he's dark. So I don't know if y'all have experienced this, if y'all could talk about it or anything.
I mean, I think that it's just I think that white privilege is it goes the disparity between white gays and black gays just goes to show the strength of white privilege and like what it can take, where it can take you in this world. Like white gays have like a significant amount of wealth in this country, significant amount of political power. Like marriage was legalized because of just gays couldn't really get a lot of financial benefits from marrying, and it was just centered around it was centered around wealth and like rights, as opposed to like any other humanity in terms of like the legal arguments that had to be made. That was part of the consideration, as opposed to whether this, it was a fundamental right. And I feel like even men of color are fetishized sexually to like
exotic, or got like
exotic.
a big black.
Yeah, like
Not saying.
Versus like
right, and like they and people just they want to use black men for certain things, but I feel like even interracial relationships or like anything like that, not only are you battling having a gay relationship, but an interracial relationship or anything like that, you're still falling into the difficulties that come with the the racism in the country. So I think that it definitely, you could definitely see like the polar opposites between gay men or I'm sure gay women in the.
And let's be real. Like we all, like, as much as like we all have our preferences. Like me as a gay black man, like I'm attracted to gay black men. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Like in Miami, sometimes it's like weird because it's like all like Hispanic, things like that. But not to say that I'm not attracted to that, but it's like sometimes you're like, I'm looking for a gay black man. Do they exist? Things like that. So it's like, so it's like, I don't know. It's weird.
What you're saying is like totally valid. I just want to know, like, preferences are just bad when they come from places of like oppression or like internalized ideas. You know what I mean? Like you seeing a gay black man, like I don't see a problem with that. Like some within you, but it's when people are like, no, I only want like a white person. Like obviously that's not a preference. That's like you letting your European beauty standard like influence you. But I read this other good article. Perhaps I'll send it to you. It was
Tara reads. I just want to know that Tara reads.
Thank you. I know how to read. Yes. So it was like the whole concept of like, what is the gay? What gay people does America accept, right? And it is like white, males, you know what I mean? Like they are like the poster face of like all these like gay movements that like hit the media. Like if you look at like HRC campaigns and things like that, it's usually like white people, white men, white conservative looking men. Like there was this, I forget his name, but he was some dude, right, who was like an army pilot, and he happened to be gay and he was white. So he did some like cool war thing. I don't know, like killed people. I don't really know. Whatever they do in war. And they were applauding him.
He gave his life for this country. He fought for this country.
He did something in terms of like, anyway. So he, but the whole thing that he did, like it was only boiled down to the fact that he was like a hero, and that he was like from this certain area, and that he liked sports. Like they highlighted that he was like a little like lacrosse player in high school, and he was gay, and they were able to mention it in a casual way, right? Like him and his partner, but it wasn't like gay man does da da da. Like because he was white, he was able to just be a white all-American boy who happened to be gay. If it was someone of color, it'd be like gay da da da. Like that would be like the forefront.
Well, real quick, the shooting at the Pulse Club. Right. Every news station that covered this said this was it was Latin. No, what did they say? It was gay night or
it was Latin night.
It was Latin night. But they didn't really talk about it. It was gay night. It was a gay club. Yeah. They didn't really express the intersection of ethnicity or of race.
That, like, almost everybody
so that gets shunned away, right? So you always have to be this and something else. Right. And if this and does not equate or live up to this, then go away.
I think kind of piggybacking on what you were saying about like white gay men being the poster child for the LGBT community is really funny because it's queer, it's trans, black, and Latina, and like literally trans women of color who started the movement, who started everything that is like, that started everything that is what the LGBT community is today, that started us on this journey of getting our rights and everything like that. So it's funny that it's like now that, you know, people kind of care a little bit just to say that they care, it's like they only care about, you know, white men that they can identify with, white men that they could probably see themselves having lunch with if they weren't gay. You know, they don't want to have lunch, or like they don't want to really intermingle, or they don't really, in the sense of like, it's the gay, the people that they put on the front street is the gay people that they would have cared about if they weren't gay. The gay people that they would have befriended if they weren't gay. They would not have befriended me, gay or straight or anything else, because I'm like this random, like, you know, black woman from a lower socioeconomic background. Like, they would never have met me, so they don't really care if I have rights or not, because they don't care about the other rights that I don't have as a person. But this gay white man, it's like, he could have been my fraternity brother. He could have been the guy that I played basketball with, but he's gay, so I gotta make sure.
Son, like, like they can like humanize like white bodies, but they can't humanize like anything else. For sure.
Yeah, so if y'all are just joining us, tonight's topic is we're getting into it tonight, LGBTQIA community. But please feel free to ask questions. I know y'all are dropping a lot of comments. The shooter claimed he was doing it out of religious piousness, right? I don't know as far as
I heard he never claimed that. I heard that it was the media. That I don't know where this person's source was, but that the media put it on him like Muslim man does da 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 da. But apparently he wasn't even very connected to his religion. It was just more like terrorist speaking.
But because he's Muslim,
because of looks he is.
Question from Matt. What is your opinion on queer spaces and how supportive they are? Being someone who is a queer transgender man, I don't feel as I fit in with gay men's spaces or lesbian spaces, which seem to be the only two options.
And I think that like one of the things that I struggle with is that you know, now that you're out, you know, and you're trying to live a queer life, a gay life, you know, what spaces do you want to go where you feel comfortable? Because we still do live in a heterosexual world, and you know, there's plenty of friends of mine that they're like, oh, I don't do gay clubs. Like, I don't feel comfortable in gay clubs because it's just like they only cater to like one type of just, you know, type. And even I've had some women that have told me that like, you know, I don't even feel comfortable in gay clubs. Like, you know, like some gay guys like just don't make me feel comfortable sometimes because they're just like, what are you doing here? and so like it's how do you create a space where you can just be comfortable in a queer space with all these individuals, or certain kind of just groups without having to over sexualize the experience, where it could just be, all right, 'cause I like in Philly, it's cool they have the Gayborhood, where the it's like a couple of block radiuses, and like the streets are like the street signs have the rainbow on it.
Yeah.
And like they have gay libraries, like gay hotels, like it's just like gay friendly, so that
even Atlanta's like
I guess like a safe place, basically.
Yeah.
Right, where like if you do want to be around gay people, you can go to or queer like a queer space, you can that, or like Wilton Manors, like I guess, but they still cater to certain crowds.
I think it's definitely understandable to feel like you don't fit in to a space because, like as we've been talking about and we've been mentioning, there's a lot of like expectations and things like that, and there's a lot of like exclusions, and it's like the gay community, just like any other community, can be very cliquish. So if you're not fitting into the box that is like everyone's fitting into, you may not be comfortable in that space. As a black gay woman, I don't know how comfortable I would be in if I were entering maybe a lesbian space that was majority white women or Hispanic women, because it's like there are points where I would feel like I can't relate, or there are points where I would feel ostracized or not like completely blending in. So it's like I'd have to go and be like, well, where's the queer black women in Miami? Make some friends. Because it's like, and it's completely understandable. Like I cannot 100% relate, because like that person's identity, it's that person's experience, but I completely understand and relate to not feeling 100% comfortable, because I've even talked to my friends about it. I'm like, I just need to go to a place where there's like black gay women, because I'm like, I want to like befriend black gay women. And there's nothing wrong with like black non-gay, like non-black gay women. It's just that sometimes I'm like, the relationship and like the understanding of our identities is just a little bit different sometimes.
And even like that goes to play with feeling like there's two, like okay, like being in a space where it's like a lot of black people, where you're like, well, yeah, I fit in to a certain extent, but it's like, but don't talk about no gay shit, But it's like, but being in a gay environment, it's like you're looking for like the people of color, or like other people that like so it's like it's weird. Like I understand like where you may feel like, oh damn, like where do I like?
Where's my group?
Where's the happy medium?
I feel like it's unfortunate because I think we have this like utopia version of like what the LGBT community is. Like if you go anywhere gay, like it's gonna be super accepting because they're gay and they love everyone. Yeah, they like rainbows. Like
throw rainbows
at you. Like you're just gonna be accepted.
Hugs and
but it's
mimosas.
yeah.
It's gonna be hugs and mimosas.
Like all these like intersex identities that we talked about, they still pervade through this community. You know what I mean? So like racism still there, like gender discrimination still fucking there, like class, all these things, they still exist, Whereas, and it's kind of interesting because it's almost like dehumanizing gay people in a sense, like we're this like ideal people, like we don't have other problems because we're gay, so like we are so
super open-minded,
exactly, but that's not true. Like there's all these other issues, and in terms of like the question that Matt originally asked about like being trans and not fitting in places, it's like I said before, I'm not saying it's bad that it's LGBTQIA+. I'm saying it's perhaps unfortunate for certain groups, because specifically trans people or like gender non-conforming people, I think their space in that community is so small because it is mostly about sexuality. So people who are just gay, cis, white, like they don't know anything about like being trans or generalization, but you don't have to like deal with those problems.
They don't think about it.
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of like understanding your privileges. When you have a privilege, you don't have to think about it. So I don't generally think about the plight of trans women because it doesn't affect my day to day. But when it affects your day to day, you think about it. So it's like that's why it's a privilege for you, because you don't consider all the harms and all the negativities of it. So it's not like you're not like saying that no one cares or no one notices.
You're not dismissing it.
But you're just saying that like they don't think about it every day. So like I can care about trans women, I can care about trans men, I can care about Muslim people, I can care about a lot of people. But it's like I feel and I know what I experience. So that's what I think about for the most part. So it's not like I don't think you were saying people don't generally care.
Yeah. So we're gonna end soon. It's about to be 10:30. So clearly we can talk about this all day. There's so much more to unpack. So we'll probably have a part 2. We've been doing a lot of part 2s lately, and we did a part 3 recently. We've been doing a lot of parts. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll probably do a part 2 to this, and I'll definitely hit y'all up. But I do want to ask you, as we're about to end, what is the role of heterosexual cisgendered people in all this? Do they have a role? Do they not? Fuck them. I don't know. What y'all think? Because heteronormativity is not going anywhere. If it's gonna only be a plight that LGBTQIA plus folks are gonna take on, right? So, what do folks do? Do you even want them in the conversation? Do you not? Like, what do y'all think about this? And as we're talking about this, maybe some parting words as well.
Be an ally. That's one of my biggest things. So I've heard some people say they don't like the A in LGBTQA. But I think that's one of the biggest things that you can do is just be an ally, be there for a friend, be there for a stranger, because the coming out experience is not an easy experience. It's not a nice experience, and it personally for me, I feel like it's something that's inevitable. I can't really control how I feel about another woman or what another woman makes me think about or how she makes me feel or what she makes me want to do or things like that. And I feel like within the process you can feel like you're alone a lot, and I feel like the biggest thing that somebody can just do is just be a friend, be a listening ear or something like that.
Okay.
It's easier.
I think that it's kind of how I feel about anybody who's not a part of a community. When you're entering a space or when you're entering a community, I definitely agree with be a support system, but I have a lot of feelings about being for allies, not asexuality, because it's not about you. The whole world is about you. So this is our space. So tread softly. Don't come in and make it oh my gosh, this is how I feel about everything. Just come in and be I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow as a person. Not I'm here to tell you how I feel about your gayness and how about the gay community and how it affects me in my life. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we don't when I'm being my gay true self, I don't care. When I'm being my black woman self and you're a white person, you're entering my black woman's space, I don't care. I don't care. So it's I'd rather you just come in and be hey, I just wanted to support you. And then you just kind of soak up the greatness that's happening in the space. And that's it. And that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's, all you can do is just be supportive and understand that, everyone's experiences are different. Although you may not identify or not know what this person is going through, what this group goes through, just understand that there's a lot of challenges and a lot of things that that we face every day. So just be supportive. That's hard.
I think that something that I guess people can do is just get uncomfortable in the sense of that your thoughts and your ideals should be challenged. Because the experience of coming out has been a learning experience and will always be a learning experience for us. Because we like we said earlier, we have to change depending on the space that we're in. So being straight is a privilege in a sense where you don't have to think about that.
Yeah.
So just open your eyes to new thoughts and ask questions. If you're if you don't know anybody or just ask a lot of questions. I met somebody this summer. They were they're gender non-conforming individual, and I just had so many questions because I never knew anybody like that, and I thought that was important for me to know because I didn't get it.
Can you explain that? Gender non-conforming.
So they like the pronouns they theirs. They were born a female, and I just messed up throughout the whole summer. I just wanted to call her her all the time, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, what's the big deal? Just be a her. But she like, I mean, they try to explain to me, kind of just their process and that they don't fit like a gender, so that's not something that they want to be part of. So, who am I to tell them how they should live their life?
Really quick, you just made me think about something, and also like one thing I guess I'd say is like, don't be afraid to be our friends. Like I think a lot of times it's like they're afraid it's gonna like rub off on them or something like that. Like
it's contagious.
Like, like it's okay. We don't want you, or just it's okay to like again with the support and things like that. It's okay to be a friend. Like during.
And it's okay to expose your children to it.
Yeah.
Like, we're a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other
part two. Yeah, that's a part two.
Part two.
Yeah.
Raising each other.
So like in terms of the question of like what straight people can do, I would say my number one thing is like just to stop fetishizing gay people, because that's like my biggest like, like these identities aren't for you to consume as like just cute characters that you like in shows, or like like I want to watch this porn. Like they're actual people behind identities, and then in terms of my like takeaway for people, this is my little like soapbox, but like bi erasure is real. We are real people. Like it's not just like it's not a transition phase for everyone. Perhaps some people may use it as transition phase, which is fine. But like people are set in bisexuality. Like it's real, So please don't like judge that, despite if you're gay or straight or whatever. Like.
And like I also like wanted to add to you saying that is like even whatever gender you're dating, like you're still bisexual. And that's like I think something that people don't acknowledge.
Yes, literally.
Like,
That was
in a relationship with a woman, you will always be bisexual. In a relationship with a man, you will always be bisexual, and that will always be like your identity.
I didn't come out. Sorry, small note. I didn't come out for like almost my entire undergrad career because I was dating a dude the whole time. So I just didn't feel like the questions like, but you have a boyfriend. Like, are you sure you're bi? Like, yes, I am bi. Which means both. Like, I'm with a dude, still considered bi. But yeah, that's the thing.
And I think that we should maybe have an episode just on bisexuality.
Yeah.
We probably
There's
should.
a lot.
And it's interesting because we've been talking about tonight that we can't boil these things down to sexuality, and then we call it bisexuality, right? And then we talk about, well, this is a sexual thing because you're attracted to this person, right? So I think we need to maybe unpack more this idea of sexuality that is not synonymous with sexual orientation, sexual preference, or anything like that, because I think
and gender.
Unfortunately, sometimes it takes elective courses to try to understand these things. Right? So we can definitely, there's so much here to talk about. And then, I don't know, for cis hetero folks, I would also say be willing to unlearn things. Because I've learned a lot, and maybe I shouldn't have learned those things. So I'm trying to unlearn a lot, and this is a journey. This is for you're talking about being uncomfortable going to a gay club. Like I'm that guy right now. You know what? Maybe I could try. Like I'm that person.
You've
because
never been to a gay club?
Never.
I personally haven't been either myself.
Aren't you young?
Like,
are you of age?
Ageism is real. Ageism.
I look 17. It's fine.
Well, age is a social construct. All this stuff. All these things are social constructs.
In certain contexts.
No, but no, for sure, and like, so I feel uncomfortable, and I think I want to try it. I think I'm like,
go. It's fun. We'll go together.
So, hey,
make it a trip.
We should go on Latin night so I can also dance.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Two men dancing, cause salsa, it happens often in salsa communities, and I think that's a way of resistance and challenging heteronormativity. I dance with all my friends all the time, and people I almost got into a fight one time because someone was like trying to, atypical. Crazy. There's so much to talk about. Part two, for sure. For sure. But thank you, all of you, for joining tonight. Do y'all want people to follow y'all on social media?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Feel free to throw out your handles if you want to. You don't have to.
I mean, you threw them out for us in the description.
True.
Well, I didn't tag you. Huh?
Yeah, just type it out.
Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna post a picture of all of us here in a bit, and I'll tag everybody in it. So feel free to follow them. But thank y'all so much for sharing your experiences, getting
Thanks for
personal,
having us.
being open, being courageous to just having these conversations. And thank y'all for tuning in tonight. If I didn't get to some of y'all's questions, I'm so sorry. But join us next week. Next week we're talking about physical health. We actually have a bodybuilder on the show, low key Martin.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
y'all know Martin. Like
Yeah.
he is extremely intelligent. Applying to med school. Like we're gonna talk about so much. So make sure to tune in next week. Have amazing episodes the rest of the month. So thank y'all again so much, and we'll see y'all later.
Yay.